Like I myself come from an acting background originally, and then I've kind of like moved into directing and everything like that. I started out actually, some of the first few shows I ever actually did was at Teatro del Pueblo with guys like Al Justiano right here in the West Side. So I'm pretty familiar with the community, but I didn't get to know it as well as I got to know it over the last 6 months and get to know the people that are here, and then get to help like create this piece right here. For the future generations that are running around the stage right now, definitely. You know, it really boils down to, and we've been talking a lot about this in rehearsal too, you know, West Side is more than a place. It's a community where people look after each other and take care of one another. And the one thing that kept coming up the most as we talked to people that would walk by the Wellstone Center so many months ago, it's home for a lot of people. This place is home to a lot of people, and it's a community where people look after one another. So I hope you really get a chance to enjoy the piece that we have there. And we also have Becky Dale as well, who's actually going to be leading us in a song that was written here several years ago, but I'll let you introduce that if that's something that you'd like to do. But yeah, please enjoy the rest of the festivities. Thank you all for coming today. Big Witch.
She's so awkward.
Hey everybody, so we're going to kick it off this afternoon with a little bit of a sing-along and a flashback to 2008. I'm Becky Dale, as mentioned, and I moved to the West Side in 1990, and my eldest was born in 96, and in 2008 I produced the West Side Theater Project right over here in Neighborhood House. We did shows in 2009, 2010, and 2012 by doing a similar process to what Mixed Blood has been doing, listening to the community and creating shows out of the stories of the community. And for anybody who lives on the West Side, probably you've had the chance to explain to somebody why it's called the West Side. Because, you know, a whole bunch of St. Paul is actually west of here, right? And so this song explains that. So our first show was called the West Side on the South Side, because we're south of downtown and south of a lot of St. Paul, and actually east of some of St. Paul, but we're called the West Side. So in your programs, in the beginning, you see the song, the West Side and the South Side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the bolded sections. The bolded sections are also in the back, so I'm going to do sort of a call and response and invite you to join along. And then we're going to listen to the first stanzas as sung by the youth who were part of the West Side Theater Project, including Bea, who you're going to hear perform later, who was 10 at the time. So everybody ready? So I'm going to give you the bolded part. We're going to start the two stanzas that are bolded. The first one we're going to sort of speak in rhythm, and the second stanza we'll sing. So the first one, I'll do it slow and then we'll speed it up. So the way it describes where the Mississippi flows. So it goes north, east, and south, the Mississippi flows. So I'll say it, now you say it. North, east, and south, the Mississippi flows. North, east, and south, the Mississippi flows. North, east, and south around the West Side. North, east, and south around the West Side. West Side. 3 of our borders are water here. 3 of our borders are water here on the west side of the river. On the west side of the river. And we do that twice. On the west side of the river. On the west side of the river. So let's try that whole thing a couple of times through. We'll just do it together with me, okay? Here we go. North, east, and south the Mississippi flows. North, east, and south around the west side. West side. 3 of our borders are water here on the west side of the river. The west side of the river. One more time. Here we go. A little faster, because it's going to go fast in the piece. Here we go. 1, 2. Here we go. North, east, and south the Mississippi flows. North, east, and south around the west side. West side. 3 of our borders are water here on the west side of the river. The west side of the river. Got it? Or you want to do it? Well, we'll do the singing part, and then we'll come back and do it one more time before we do it with singing. All right. So now the next section, I'm going to sing a line, and you're going to sing it back to me, okay? I got to get my singing voice ready here. Okay. We're going to the west side of the river. Everybody now? We're going to the west side of the river. And if it's a little high for you, you can sing down the octave and go, We're going to the west side of the river. Yeah?
Yeah, that one.
You can sing it whichever one you want. I'll sing the next one. We cross all the bridges, we climb the green stairs. Everybody? We cross all the bridges, we climb the green stairs. Then it repeats the first line. We're going to the west side of the river. Everybody? We're going to the west side of the river. And then the last line. We cross a lot of water to be here. Everybody? We cross a lot of water to be here. Okay, now we're going to try the two things together. Oh, well, actually, let's sing all the way through the singing part together once without the back and forth. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. We're going to the west side of the river. We cross all the bridges, we climb the green stairs. We're going to the west side of the river. We cross a lot of water to be here. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, two verses, the two stanzas together, then we'll do it with the music. So, from northeast and south, here we go. Northeast and south, the Mississippi flows northeast and south around the west side.
West side.
3 of our borders are water here on the west side of the river. The west side of the river. We're going to the west side of the river. We cross all the bridges, we climb the green stairs. We're going to the west side of the river. We cross a lot of water to be here. All right, so we're going to start with the music. You're going to hear what you can follow along so you know when to come in, but I'll cue you too. We can play it when we're ready. Simple. You can beatbox if you want to.
Pay attention, make a right snacks and nipples and stimulants on the racks. From the regional stations to the waterfront east, so the top is from the west side of the river from sea.
Northeast and south around the west side.
West side.
3 of our borders are water here on the west side of the river. The west side of the river. There's a little break. Here we go.
We're going to the west side of the river. We cross all the bridges. We climb the green stairs. We're going to the west side of the river. We cross a lot of water to be here. We're going to the west side of the river. Crossing the bridge. We'll climb the green stairs. We're going to the west side of the river. We cross
a lot of water to get here. Thank you all for singing along.
What are the green stairs?
What were the green stairs? Yeah, so this was 14 years ago, right? Well, there are still some. So there's, you see the bluff, right? So there's the bluff all around. So there's a set of green stairs at the end of Cesar Chavez, near where 52 goes. Before you get to 52, there's a set of green stairs that you can walk up the bluff. There's another set of green stairs if you go up State Street that'll take you up State Street up to Robert. And there used to be a set of green stairs along, well, Cesar Chavez turns into Wabasha that took you up the bluff there too.
Was there a reason, significance to green?
They just were. They were green. He has is there significance to green, but they just were green, so.
I'm good. How are you?
A baby.
He's so good. So good. Smiling.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? My name, yeah, exactly. My name is Johanna Keller Flores, and this is Bella Mendoza, also known as Miss Poetic Justice. We are gonna do a poem for you that we wrote together, and it was a really lovely process, and it's been really dope to collaborate, and we'll talk more about it later, but every line is really meaningful to us. Every line gets more meaningful as you keep going. You can read it in the program, but to be honest, there have been some edits, so don't hold us to that. So this is called More Than a Place. West Side is the biggest small town around. Esa vecina conoce a ese chico que trabaja con ese papá que platica con tu hermana, and she tells me everything. I watched you grow up here like your mama did and her mama did. My hands raised you right next to your abuelitas.
Growing up, everyone knew my grandma was a lady in the blue house. On her way to church, matched everything from her shoes to her blouse. Yet her prayers were fierce, although she was a little scared when she would start to scream and shout. She may be gone now, but her love left us protected. That I do not doubt.
Cargo mis hijos en mi espalda. This sun bridge that is my back crumbles. Pero mis hijos siempre, siempre put me back together. My children's hands paint my skin with colors from their hearts. Sangre roja, flores amarillas, pájaros verdes, la casa azul. Murals of who we are, who we've been, and who we might become. When the paint fades, they come back. They decorate me with stones that can stand the elements.
Riding the circulator always made days such a breeze. Going up to Boys and Girls Club, saying hi to Deb and asking for a freezy. Then back down to Abe we went. Carlos asking if we wanted a snack, and I always said yes, please. See, Mama raised us right. Have the time of our life on summer nights like these.
I watch the young ones who want to see the world. But you always come back to me, don't you? Me extrañas. You miss the bluffs that are my shoulders. Tus vecinos, los águilas, mapaches, coyotes. Your neighbor, the river, calls you back. Migramos como las mariposas. Monarchs return after flying such long journeys. West Side, a home for new butterflies from all over. I'm waiting with a warm coat for your wings for when it snows.
Soon we got a little older, and the days started to get a little colder. I felt summer change to fall as this grief fell upon my shoulder. Now there is more weight to carry. It starts to feel like a boulder. I need my community now more than ever. I am not meant to be a soldier.
My family fights as all families do, but we stand strong against violence. We stand strong to lift ourselves out of it together. Families fight, but I fight for you.
We are not the first West Side family that's paid our dues. The Francos, Garcias, De Leos, and Castillos have lost more than a few too. Not something people so young should have to grow through. But these streets make you strong. That much has always been true.
Los jóvenes los veo, overflowing with feelings, trying to save themselves and fight themselves.
And save themselves and fight themselves.
Us mothers will always try and put you in your place, honey. We do what the cops could never. We hold you back with soft arms. We hold you close. We hold you together. My voice with your voice, with her voice, with their voice. We cannot be ignored. We are louder than ever.
Life is not always so kind, but you can still do right. Take my mama, for instance. Graduated from Gap with a baby on her hip, but she stayed persistent. Strongest woman I know came from the West Side. That much has been consistent. These women run homes and raise babies, carry on with the resistance.
Viva la resistencia! My bones are your bones, are their bones, are our bones. West Side from the Americas, Asia, Africa, Europe, from this Dakota land. I see, you see, we see. When those who've had money for so long come to me with hunger and not community in their eyes.
We see it, we slow it, we extend a hand.
Nothing about us without us is for us. Things have changed and we're growing up now, owning our wrongs, starting our life, some of us with babies, but all finding a way to where we belong, carrying these lessons with us. Bet you didn't know I've been listening all along. West Side is more than a family, more than a place. It's how we stay strong.
I want you to feel safe here. Raise those babies here. Quiero que camines mis calles sin miedo. No matter what you look like, what your family looks like, what your love looks like, you're safe to grow here. Aquí nos cuidamos.
Maya Angelou once searched for a home for her soul, looked for a place where water is not thirsty and where wealth is not stone. She was right about one thing though, that nobody can make it out here all alone. I think that's why we all call West Side home. That's why my brother calls West Side home.
So many wrongs done against me, against us. Your homes robbed from you, my children, mi tierra, mi cuerpo, disrespected too much. A veces me canso y no hay nada que hacer pero llorar, but even in the rain, sé que a mi lado estás. Y cada vez, every time I thank you.
So pardon me as I shed a tear for the ones that we've lost and hold dear. But of course I see how you fought for us year after year. When you grew up here, you know and feel your ancestors near. United as one when it counts the most, how could anywhere else compare?
Mi amor, tienes razón. Sus espíritus siguen aquí conmigo. They are in the breezes that come off the Mississippi. They're in the sweetness of the mango that you buy from the market. In the sound of bomba, reggaeton, and aunties and uncles singing. They are a part of me. Y te acompañan. And so I love you
with my strength.
And all of their strength too.
West Side, you radiate hope and love. It's what we're made of. You built hustlers and chingonas, the same ones who raised us. Displayed strength and resilience. It's how we rise above that art we've made. That's a labor of love.
Gracias, cariños. Gracias, mis niños. You take care of me, and I take care of you.
Lady in the Blue House is how we got our start. Still, this is home, West Side. You will always have my heart. After all, West Side is the what?
Best side! Stay up there, take your bow. Take your bow.
Should we have heck. Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for gracing us with that. My name is Alejandro Te. I'm the Associate Artistic Director here at Mixed Blood. And I just want to sit and chat with, it's hot though. We want to sit here for a sec? Let's do that. We're going to sit and chat here for a sec. Thanks y'all for coming out. In just a minute, we're going to get a food delivery from all your favorite spots in the neighborhood coming, and they'll be set up right there in a second. But before we get there, I just want to hear a little bit more, and we get Ernest and maybe Katrina, if you would mind joining us, if that's okay, and Becky, get our West Siders up here. Oh my gosh. Give another round of applause for these amazing, incredible people. So I'm gonna start here with Ernest, and then we're gonna like go down the line with like how we got involved here. Ernest, you told us a little bit at the top about getting involved here on the West Side and projects you had done here before. How did you meet the people to your right and left? How do you get in touch with them, and what has the process been like chatting with these folks?
I've known Becky for a number of years, actually. We've done a few artistic and theater projects together. You always talk up this community, too, and about how great it is. Seriously, you couldn't think of ask for a better cheerleader for the West Side neighborhood. And I actually met you while we were doing this project, too. You know, and we had a really great 2-hour conversation the night that I met you, actually, over at Wisco. And then you just learn so much.
What's Wisco?
Yeah, do you want to talk about Wisco a little bit?
Okay.
That's probably better for her to
Yeah. Okay, so WESCO is the West Side Community Organization, and we do a lot of work in the community around building collective power. So in housing and environmental, health and environmental justice, housing, and everything in between. So community care, equitable land use, and we're also the district council, so we have decision-making power. And so that's what we're doing. We are actually been around about 50 years. Next year will be our 50th birthday.
Woo!
Yay, I didn't see you guys over there. Yeah, and so my connection to the West Side is I am third in 5 generations of West Siders. The lady in the blue house is who Miss Bea was talking about is my ma, and Bea's my daughter, and Becky I ran across for the first time when we worked on the theater project that y'all took a part of earlier. And it was myself and Bea, her twin, and older sister. And yeah, I mean, the kids were really amazing at acting. I'm definitely not an actress at all, but it was a lot of fun, and that's how I met Becky, and we've been homies ever since.
That's amazing. And then how'd you get hooked up with these folks who just performed this amazing poem for us, Ernest?
Oh, okay. So that was Becky, and then my connection to Ernest, like he said, so we were having a meeting just trying to understand, or ask community to come in and talk about your relationship with the West Side. And at that time, we didn't have a big turnout. It was a really, really hot day, wasn't it? Yeah, we didn't have a turnout, so we just hung out. Johanna, me, and Ernest just hung out, and that was how we talked for 2 hours. And I can go on and on about West Side and how beautiful it is, but I thought that this piece really captured it well. So Bea, I birthed. Johanna and I met at that meeting, and yeah, that's how that one went.
Thank you. Bea and Johanna, moving over to our writers and our performers. What was it like developing this process, and what came up for you? Was there something that you learned, maybe not necessarily about the West Side, but about like your feelings about the West Side or about connecting with each other in this process?
Yeah, so for me, I don't know, I always knew, like, again, like I said, Lady in the Blue House is how we got our start. And as I was like talking to a few people, like my sisters here, Danae, Marie, and Anessa, I kind of realized that my grandma being gone didn't mean that the West Side stopped being home. She only like laid the base, laid the foundation for us. And my brother lived and fought right here. He passed away in October, but this was always his home no matter where he lived. He loved the West Side, he fought for us. One of the last times that I saw him, he was actually doing security for the art fair in this park. And we held his vigil here and everything, so
will you tell us his name so we can all hold it for a moment?
Yeah, his name is Gabe, Gabriel. Some people knew him as Dino, Gabriel Mendoza, so. He's my real home in my soul, but physically, the West Side will always, always be my home and always hold a place for me.
I'd love to just, for everyone, just to like hold that name for a second in your heart, just Gabe, Dino, and just take a deep breath in with me. Becky shared with me that Gabe is actually the first voice that we heard on the rap. That was the very first voice there on that rap. So he's actually here in so many ways for this performance right now. Thank you for sharing. Johanna, could you share with us your connection to the West Side, and then also what this process was like with it?
Sure. So I lived on the West Side as a kid. My parents lived here. My parents moved here before I was born. And I talked with my mom a bit about, and both of my parents, but I think more my mom, just about like the West Side. And I think I lived here till I was like 9 years old. But that like it was just a really important move for my family to be somewhere walkable, to be somewhere where like my mom moved from Peru to Stillwater to the West Side. So there was just like a little bit of a difference in being able to go places where people speak Spanish and like
you're from Mexico to Texas.
Yeah.
West side, which is weird.
So like people find their way here for a reason, you know, like and
never move.
and yeah, and then like as a kid I performed, like I did theater stuff at Neighborhood House, and my parents worked on the West Side for a lot of my life, most of my life, and then I came back and worked here as a teenager. I did like youth farm stuff, and yeah, it just like it has always been a home base for me, even if I'm not always living here. And Ernest told me about this project, and I was like, oh cool, I love the West Side. He was like, oh, maybe you should do it with me, and I was like, oh, maybe.
I think it's a very different thing, right? To live in a place, to love a place, but then to get to make art about a place.
Yeah.
Like what was that like coming back and being able to like really focus on like, now I actually have to verbalize and like write down all the things that I know in my heart. Like what was that like?
I mean, it was super helpful from my side of things because we've had so many conversations with folks on the West Side talking about, you know, things that they love about it, things that they feel about it. Even just like passersby being like, okay, give us a few sentences on like how would you describe the West Side to other people? What is something that you love about it? What's something you would change about it? And everybody has so much to say, and everything is so beautiful. Like everybody is like speaking poetry, maybe without meaning to. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna like bring some of these pieces together, bring some of these conversations together that I've kind of been collecting, and then working with Bella like just really brought everything together. Where it's like, okay, I have like I'm trying to bring like a bunch of experiences together, and Bella has so much like in her body lived, I'm here right now experience that we were able to kind of have like two different, very genuine perspectives on the West Side.
It was definitely an unexpected email to receive. But I was like, hey, these people asked for you by name. I was like, who's talking about me? Why are people talking about me? I don't understand.
They were.
And so it was definitely like interesting to get that email, but I just like, I knew from the jump like it was a project I had to do, because as many times as I've like performed, I've been performing since almost 10 years now. Spoken word wise, well, spoken word wise, I've been performing for about 10 years, but I performed on the West Side, but I never wrote a piece solely about the West Side for the West Side, which I was like, why didn't I do that? So it was a wonderful opportunity.
So now for our whole panel, for our whole circumference of this concrete stage, for folks who are maybe coming to the West Side for the first time or the first time in a while, or folks who are tuning in on our YouTube stream who have no context, right, for the West Side at all, what's the story you tell? What's the quintessential West Side story that you're like, oh, this is, now you'll get it if you understand this. Like this is the sort of thing that happens on the West Side, so you can get it.
You want to start, Becky?
The quintessential story. Well, I mean, I guess connection and people is, I think, what's come up over and over again. I mean, this morning I went to the West Side Farmers Market, and I love going there because I always see people that I know and can talk to. When we did the West Side Theater Project, it was in 3 languages. It really, literally, ages 7 to 70. Like the Mendoza family was in all 3 sets of all 3 productions, and there were several families that did it multiple times, and just that we could have that rich experience where I love that my children were friends with people they didn't speak the same language with and who were 70 years older than them, you know, and that's sort of, and that's not hard to do on the West Side. If you just make an opportunity for people to come together, people are proud of the West Side and weave connections all over the place. And shout out to Wesco for really making a lot of that happen too in the 50 years of,
Absolutely. And also shout out to the market, the artist market that's happening right now at Backstory Coffee. So right after you're done here, you can go over there and check out an awesome event that Wisco is putting up right now. So in case you're just joining us, maybe you missed the first part of our program, we're going to do it all again. It was so nice. Let's see it twice. But until that moment, we actually have pan dulce, we have waters, we have ice cream and flautas coming, and tostones and maduros and yuca frita. So hang out with us, check out some of our activities, and then we'll be back in a few to do this one more time. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Rich.
I don't know which one. I made eye contact with another girl.
I was gonna try today.
Box right
Right in there. Are we good? Hi. Hello. Oh, I'll go back. Hi there. If you have been tuning in with us here on YouTube, we've loved having you. We really enjoyed it. We didn't want to make you too jealous when the food comes, since we can't beam it to you online. So we're gonna close our stream here, but just so you know, right after this, all we're doing is repeating that first program again. So we're gonna get to see that poem again. We're gonna get to sing that rap again. We'll eat a little food, and we hope to see you at our future 12 by 12 events. So our very next event is next week in Rondo. Johanna Sullivan Jansen has created a piece of freeway stories, collecting stories about I-94 and about the freeway, and that's going to be there at 4 p.m. in Rondo at the Rondo Commemorative Plaza. So we would love to see you there in person. We would love to see you on YouTube here again, and we look forward to seeing you also at future 12 by 12 events in cities or in communities across the Twin Cities throughout the summer. And finally, at our culminating event, 12 by 12, the festival that is happening at Mixed Blood at our firehouse on August 19th and 20th. There's more information on our website. You can find us at mixedblood.com. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, Tay, come here. No, I know that I'm saying.